straight to the point, like
Do it.
these podcast episodes are. You joke a lot about how entrepreneurship made you lose your hair. And
Starting there. Okay.
we laugh about it. It's funny. But honestly, like just honest truth, what's been like some like crucial things that, I don't know, had you crying in the shower when nobody else was watching?
Well, I don't cry in shower. I cry in bed. There's a difference. I wake up crying. And my line is always like stress-induced entrepreneur's baldness. And now, truthfully, it's genetics. It's not due to stress. But, this entrepreneurial journey, there have been times where I wake up cold sweat, not knowing what the hell to do, right? That's luckily in the past, and it just comes from cash flow and stability and growth and trying to grow too fast. And all of a sudden waking up at 3 a.m. and going, well, like, how the hell am I going to pay salaries tomorrow? I have, 20, 25 mouths to feed and I can't feed them. And it's just due to, a delayed payment from a supplier, whoever has delayed a payment to us. That one payment delayed means, okay, frontline managers, I have to go to them in the morning and say, well, can I delay your salary a week? They know, they see it. They know what's delayed. They're chasing that. So then they say yes. And then there was another payment delayed and I have to go to the next staff. Hey, can we delay your salary a week? Right. And that's a horrible feeling as an entrepreneur. It's a feeling of failure. It's a feeling of like, well, what did I do wrong? So those years were, 2015, 16, where it was like, okay, that's tough. Right. And that to me is the way I manage, the way I inspire is staff is number one. And that's the worst thing to go and ask your staff, can we delay? And of course, most of those staff actually are still with me, but it was hard conversations and they understood the market and they understood what was happening, but we fought through and I didn't grow my hair back. So, yeah.
Throughout like everything that you put out there, and I'll strongly encourage everyone like to check out Adam's profile and his company and what he does, but you really put the community and the people at the center of everything. Mm-hmm. So looking after others, whether it's your staff, your clients, the people you support and help and place. When did you start looking after yourself first in order to not be pouring out of an empty cup?
I think again, talking on the entrepreneurship and community and, my 20 years in Asia, there were times where maybe I worked to the bone a little bit too much. I worked evenings and, it affected me personally, financially, romantically, whatever. Like when you're at that level, it affects all aspects of life, negatively and positively. For me though, I do put myself, even though I'm building communities, and it's a lot of what I do, whether it's fitness communities, storytelling, or within Maxxelli, the relocations and all that. That's all. I'm always building communities. That's sort of who I am. But I do put myself first. I do focus on fitness. Fitness is I've joked that I plan to live to 100, but it's not a joke. I'm serious. I want to be healthy to 100, right? And so I do focus on health and fitness and mental health breaks and trying not to work at home or working until 8, right? Sort of 8 p.m. is my cutoff. I don't want to be working till midnight behind a computer because there's always something to do the next day. The list is always there. The list is never finished. So I've learned to like shut off. As an entrepreneur, you take your work with you wherever you go. You're always thinking. So even if I'm in a movie theater or at the beach, your brain is always going tick, right? It doesn't shut off. But I've sort of put some hard rules in place where, I have to go to the gym every day or exercise every day, something. And that's also like an output for me. I have to focus on sleep 100%. I fight for sleep. And so all these things are putting me first, right? It's not that the company isn't there on first as well. It's just, I know for me to be successful, thriving, driving during the day or whatever I'm doing, I have to feel healthy, mind, body, soul.
Yeah. And that's like the number one mistakes that drive people to burnout, especially when in the first years where you're like, okay, I'm just gonna go these 3 nights without sleeping so I can ship this product or do this thing. And it does really affect, like, I think in the long term, not only your longevity, but also like how you show up at work,
Hmm.
like how
Hmm.
your patience, how you treat others. But like, it's easy to look at it when you're on the other end and you have that routine in place. I think part of your story that you mention often is that fitness was very important for you very early on. And then you had
Hmm.
like a certain gap where it wasn't that present for you.
Yeah, I
How
mean, I think I grew up playing sports. 12 months a year, I was involved in some sort of organized sport as a kid. And, I think it's important for that. I think that's part of growing up, learning how to win, learning how to lose, learning how to be the leader, to be the follower, to be a good teammate, right? Those are all life skills. So, I'm super happy that my nephew is actively involved in a lot of sports as well, because with my brother and I, that's how we grew up. And that's important for us in our adult lives. In my 20s, though, I exercised, but I never really, not really into it that much. I'd run, I'd do it at yard marathon, but not really structured. It was kind of mid 30s where I started to take things a bit more seriously, and even late 30s into my 40s, that's when I really sort of took taking care of my body. And I'm not, for me, fitness is like, I'm not, in some rooms I'm the fastest, and most rooms I'm the slowest, right? Like, it's not about being faster or slower. For me, it's just taking care of myself and really looking on what I'm doing to live to 100. So it was really late 30s into my 40s now that I've taken it pretty serious.
when I see how when I train hard versus when I don't, like
Mhm.
your mind get like this a completely different like experience.
The physical it's science, right? If your body is healthy, your mind is healthy. If you're feeding it with garbage and fast food and not exercising, and you're sluggish, it's science. It's just you can't argue the facts. And so, yeah, I definitely feel sharper, better decision making, more patience when I've exercised, I've slept, I've drank lots of water. All those things that we learn as a kid that are important, and then when you're an adult, you kind of forget about it. But um, yeah, it affects your thinking 100%.
Hmm. What happens to you today when you have like these kind of like spikes or high stress or challenges, aside from fitness and the routine? Do you have like something else that backs you up?
Um, I do have a pretty good support network, but the support network's all over the world, right? And that's entrepreneur life. So, or not entrepreneur, expat life is, and I've written articles on like the expat roller coaster. Even if you've been a 20-year expat, you still have ups and downs being abroad. And one of the downs is when your core friend group that you're hanging out with suddenly repatriates, or, is moved to another city, and all of a sudden your social life is just like around the world somewhere. And so that is something where even if you've been abroad for 20, 30 years, you're going to have those ups and downs, those cycles. And when you're a new expat abroad, in the first month, 3 months, 6 months, the roller coaster is a real roller coaster. I love it. I hate it. I love it. I hate it. Right. And then the ride gets a bit easier. But so I do have really good friends that I can talk to on multiple time zones. So, whether it's Europe or North America or Asia, they're all over the world. And so that helps. Yeah, I mean, for me, being in a relationship is something like, I think that's important. Having that, your partner, your best friend, someone to talk to bounce ideas off of, to share your wins, to witness your life. All that I think is helps, to be honest, a lot, because you have that one person, the person. Aw, sounds cute. But yeah, I think all of those things. And I'm still quite close to my mom and dad as well. So I'm quite close to my family. So I think it's a support network, a community around you that when you're stressed, you always have that backup. You have someone to talk to. If you're not able to vent, if you're not able to express yourself, and of course I have these friends I can talk about this person, that, like, of course you have different avenues, but I think that support network, no matter where they are in the world, is important.
It's almost an advantage, right, to have like someone available in any time zone, because you never control when shit's gonna hit the fan.
Yep. Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, yeah. And again, North America, Europe, Asia, you can kind of bounce around a little bit and figure out who can I call right now when I need someone to talk to.
It's true. And like, do you feel like that's been something like recurring because we're based in Bangkok right now as we speak, or where we met, and it is a very transient city. Like some of those, even if it's not necessarily, when I was living in London, it was not necessarily an expat world, but it was a transient city as well. So you'd have to say hello and goodbye to new people every 3 months, every 3 years, every kind of stage in life. How does that impact like welcoming new people in your life, or setting up, these routes for yourself and for others? How you work with others in that?
Well, I mean, let's talk about others first. When we're relocating people, no matter what city, Shanghai, Hong Kong, Bangkok, wherever it is, helping them connect to a community is important, right? Whether it's a parents association at the school for the children, or a charity organization, or a fitness, or a whatever it is, whatever community that they're a part of in their home country, it's important that they connect to that community here. But then also here is just, you're an expat, I'm an expat. Okay, you're living abroad, I'm living abroad. We're not from here. We're not Thai. We're not Chinese. So that is also a community where it gets in. And then, so I think being able to, I don't want be aggressive is the wrong word, be assertive and say, okay, I need to find people, right? I need to start either finding a community or building a community or connecting with like-minded individuals. Because I had a great friendship and community in Shanghai. When I moved back to Chongqing, I had to build it from scratch. When I came to Bangkok, again, I'm starting from zero, right? I knew a few people in Bangkok, but I had to sort of find and either build it or join it or whatever it is. And so, but you can't be lazy, especially in a city like Bangkok, in some of the smaller Chinese cities where we operate. If you're struggling as an expat abroad, people will catch you. They'll see you struggling. They'll, hey, come out with us. We'll show you around. And so you're not able to fall through the cracks. In a larger market like Shanghai, London, Bangkok, if you're an expat abroad, it's not that nobody cares, but you'll fall through the cracks. Nobody's going to catch you. And so you have to take it upon yourself while you're abroad to surround yourself with people that, that you enjoy your time with, or find that community, because no one's going to do it for you. You have to do it by yourself.
Yes, being like in that position of, and I remember like quite often throughout my career back then, a little more corporate-y or startup-y, thinking, I'm so tired of being in these rooms where we have just small talks, and there was a shift from thinking of complaining of the outside world and then starting to do something about it. Being like, when someone is asking me what do you do in your life, I answer back with, well, what are you passionate about in your life? And like, I can lead the conversation towards something that I am interested in, as opposed to complaining about that. So I completely see, how it's easy to go at it a bit defeated, and how it is possible to change the narrative. There's like a beautiful stage that you've been holding for founders fuck ups and like being able
Yeah.
to share that. I don't know if that's still going on, but what's been like one of the biggest fuck up that you have done or you have experienced that's been like quite a costly lesson, or like something that you hold, a lesson you hold with you now?
I mean, there's lots, and I think, you know, when you scroll through LinkedIn, when you scroll through Instagram, it's mostly positive, right? Okay, maybe that's my algorithm, but like especially when it comes to not just relationship or life, but when it comes to your company or as an entrepreneur, you're not going to share the mistakes that you've made, right? That's come on. So yeah, so biggest. I mean, when times were tight, the fuck up that we made was we expanded too fast. We stretched too thin. And as a manager, okay, maybe I wasn't ready to manage that many cities, or I wasn't structurally ready as a person or as a company to like, oh, here's 5 new cities, boom, go. It almost killed us, right? And so, you know, that would be obviously a major one. But even just hiring, you know, I have a very good HR track record, and we have an awesome team. And you know, most of my team was, if not 10, close to 10 years now across the network. And but you know, some bad hires, right? You know, like often it's gut, right? You're just kind of like, does this feel right or does it feel wrong? And if not making a change soon enough is not really a fuck up, but when it comes to staff is like I keep them too long, and then it gets more difficult to move on, to make that decision to, okay, it's just not working. Where if I felt it at 3 months, I should have just made the decision at 3 months. So I guess often not trusting my gut is sometimes where second guessing myself would be the biggest challenge, or what creates a lot of the little fuck ups. The baby fuck ups. But the big one was just that I tell is just like not being structurally ready to expand as rapidly as we did. I didn't have the backbone of what we were in order to expand. So
Yeah, the like structural resilience or operational resilience to go after everything in one go. That makes sense. And it's also what's like penalizing a lot of businesses today. So hopefully someone can recognize the signals and like have that echo to be like alarm bell and try to figure that out
yeah.
on their own. I know we're getting at time, so I'd like to wrap things up with one key one key inspiration that keeps you going when you have these crying in bed moments, where you have these perhaps sometimes feeling lonely in like this busy room, or having these doubts when you want to make a decision. What's your biggest inspiration that makes you trust tomorrow?
Just tomorrow. That's a whole other question. No, for me, back in college 20 some years ago, I was on a case team, you know, where we did a case as a provincial wide kind of project case study competition. And the final project or the case study was Lululemon's global expansion. And it was the best thing I ever did in college. But at the start of that 6 months previous, we had to try out for this team and make a presentation. And no bullshitting, because you know my new venture, Be Inspired, but I did a 5-minute talk on inspiration, right? For me, the word inspiration is it's a big part of who I am. I'm very positive in everything. And so for me, what kind of inspires me to keep going is people. It's become a people thing. I love seeing people grow and change. And I love when I'm able to, like, whether it's staff, a friend, right? Staff, of course, I manage their growth, but if I'm able to help one of my good friends get off the sofa and kind of take a bit more care of themselves, right? Inspire them to focus on themselves and grow, or my mom and dad, or whatever, like I like to inspire people to be better tomorrow. And so I think that also what does tomorrow bring? I don't know. There's a lot of AI is a big equalizer, but at the end of the day, you can't change people. So that's my inspiration, making people better.
Yeah. Yeah, and it is something to strive for today, tomorrow, yesterday, today, tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thank you, Adam. Thank you so much
thank
for
you.
sharing little glimpse of your experience, your own inspirations, being an inspiration. That's what these are for. If anyone wants to reach out to you, what is the best channel?
You can find me on LinkedIn, obviously, Adam McWhirter, McWhirter, or Instagram, Adam Be Inspired, one word.
Perfect. I'll definitely place the link in the description below so everyone can find them and find you. And I'm sure that you'll be super happy to answer any questions and have a lot of insights and resources as well on your website.
I like to talk. No problem. Reach out.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Mona.